Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are embarking on a truly transformative journey. We live in an era where it is incredibly, almost dangerously easy to feel stuck. We get stagnant, we get distracted, and honestly, we get a little soft. We're totally swaddled in these modern comforts of temperature-controlled homes and just endless, bottomless streams of entertainment. But what if the secret to breaking out of this modern rut doesn't actually lie in downloading the newest productivity app, but in looking backward? What if it's found in the rigorous, time-tested practices of the ancient world? Today, we are going to explore exactly how we can leverage ancient Stoic wisdom to forge an absolutely unbreakable modern resilience.
Okay, let's dive into this because this is the core problem we are solving today. The harsh reality is that so many of us literally let one year bleed right into the next as if they are exactly the same thing. We get trapped. We get stuck in this endless loop of yesterday's failures, or sometimes, even worse, we just comfortably coast on yesterday's successes. Either way, we stagnate. If you want to build a genuinely stronger, mentally resilient new version of yourself, you have to fundamentally shift your relationship with comfort, with your environment, and ultimately with your own mind. You've got to break the cycle.
And this is exactly where the ancient philosophy of Stoicism steps in to help us out. Just consider this incredibly powerful thought from the great Stoic philosopher Seneca. He said, counting even yesterday, all past time is lost time. Seneca fully believed that fixating on the past is a total trap. All past time, whether it was amazing or terrible, sits in the exact same abyss. It's done. It's finished. If you actually want to move forward with real confidence, you have to treat the past as completely dead. Think about it. You cannot walk forward if you are constantly looking over your shoulder. That is exactly how you walk right off a cliff. So to kick off our challenge, we have to deliberately mark a new beginning.
Which brings us to the very first pillar of our Stoic challenge, observing the natural cycle of the sunset and the sunrise. I want you to picture this. You wake up before the rest of the world and you step outside into the quiet, crisp air. You watch as the pre-dawn darkness slowly lightens into that beautiful, steely, cobalt gray color. You can feel the cold air right on your skin, and you watch the sky transition from purple to blue to this fiery orange. Witnessing this daily cosmic event isn't just about taking in a pleasant view. It brings you up close and personal to a primordial process of renewal and rejuvenation. It is a physical, totally undeniable reminder that one day is entirely finished and a completely fresh one has just been born.
The Roman emperor and legendary Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius used this exact practice to shift his daily perspective. He advised us to zoom out, way out, and look at the massive, endless cycles of the world. He wanted us to realize that whatever happens has always happened and is happening right now everywhere. He understood that the daily cycle of the sun is the ultimate symbol of constant, eternal rebirth. When you stand out there watching that sun come up, you suddenly realize that last year's petty resentments, your minor failures, the little things that kept you up at night, they are just insignificant dots in the distance. The sun is shining for the very first time on a fresh new day, and it's demanding all of your present focus.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how modern science perfectly backs up this ancient philosophical wisdom of early rising. It's not just nice poetry, it's actual biology. Researchers at the University of Colorado Boulder found that waking earlier significantly lowers your risk of depression. On top of that, biologist Christoph Randler discovered that morning people consistently exhibit greater positivity and proactivity, meaning they actually have the energy to change situations to their advantage rather than just reacting. And studies from the Obesity Society even show that early risers naturally adopt healthier eating habits. So by aligning yourself with the sun, you are quite literally priming your brain and body for success.
All right, once you are awake and you've seen the sunrise, it's time for the second pillar of our challenge. And fair warning, this one is going to demand some real grit. You, my friend, are going to take a cold plunge. Yes, intentionally shifting from your warm, cozy modern life into a bone-chilling shock. Now look, this isn't about torturing yourself for no reason. It's about deliberately introducing a controlled physical stressor to build serious, undeniable physical and mental resilience.
This practice goes back thousands of years. In fact, Seneca practically invented this specific New Year challenge. He proudly described himself as a cold water enthusiast who would literally inaugurate the start of the year by plunging into the freezing Virgo aqueduct, which, fun fact, is actually the present-day Trevi Fountain in Rome. As he so perfectly put it, the body should be treated more rigorously, that it may not be disobedient to the mind. Boom. By shocking the body, you're establishing immediate, undeniable authority over it.
So how do you actually do this in your everyday life? Well, the actionable steps are brilliantly simple. You don't need to go out and buy a fancy ice bath. You just go through your usual comfortable warm shower routine. Take as long as you need to wash up. But then, you set a timer on your phone for exactly 30 seconds. Without hesitating and without overthinking it, because that's where they get you, you crank that handle all the way to cold. You withstand the shock, you breathe through the initial panic, and when the timer rings, you exit. That's it. You only have to endure half a minute of intense discomfort.
The second you step out of that cold shower, you are going to experience a profound realization. Think about how incredibly nervous you were right before you turned that handle. The prospect of the cold water probably filled you with a strange sense of terror, right? But then you did it, and you survived. Seneca noted, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The terror of anticipating the cold is almost always worse than the 30 seconds of actual cold. So this daily shower suddenly becomes a profound, miniature lesson in mastering our daily fears and anxieties. And this ancient secret is still heavily utilized today by some of the most successful people on Earth. Modern business leaders, like Twitter founder Jack Dorsey, use this exact practice. He explains that it just unlocks this thing in his mind. Think about it. If he can force himself to step from a warm bed into an ice-cold tub, a small action that frankly hurts so much, he feels completely equipped to tackle nearly anything the day throws at him. It's an instant, reliable hack for unlocking extreme mental confidence.
And this brilliantly illustrates that the benefits are not just psychological, they are deeply, measurably physiological. When you expose your whole body to the cold, your body freaks out, in a good way, and releases these cold shock proteins, which actively reduce inflammation and boost your immune system. The shock activates your sympathetic nervous system, sending a flood of electrical impulses to your brain that actively treats depression and improves function. It even forces your body to burn fat, just to generate the heat needed to warm you up. You are essentially giving your biology a total system reboot.
To really hammer home exactly how powerful these anti-inflammatory effects are, just look at this striking modern medical example. When NFL player Kevin Everett suffered a catastrophic cervical fracture right there on the field, medical professionals utilized extreme cold therapy. They literally pumped an ice-cold saline solution intravenously into his body to immediately halt the tissue swelling and inflammation. This targeted extreme use of cold actually helps save his mobility. The healing power of cold is an absolute biological reality. It's not a fad.
So the crucial point is, while the physical health benefits are obviously incredible, they are essentially just a bonus. For the Stoics, and for you taking this challenge, the ultimate goal isn't just building a healthier immune system. The real goal is cultivating an absolutely undisturbable mental resilience. As Seneca teaches us, you must toughen your soul during times of comfort, so that when life inevitably throws genuine tragedy, stress, or chaos your way, you don't panic. You know you can handle it, because you've already proven to yourself that you are tough.
So, once you mastered the morning and shocked your body into submission, you are ready for the third and final pillar of this transformation. It involves a very specific, somewhat intimidating number, 1,000. Your final challenge here is to find a state of extreme stillness by sitting in complete isolation and counting silently and steadily all the way to 1,000.
Now the rules for this are incredibly strict, so listen closely. Total isolation. No TV playing in the background, no computer monitor glowing, no cell phone buzzing on the desk, no AirPods playing ambient cafe noise. Nothing. Just you and the count. You are going to count 1 digit per second, which will take you just over 15 minutes. You cannot rush it. And no, you cannot sing a catchy song in your head to make the time go faster. You have to focus your mind completely, entirely on the present moment and the current number.
Let me tell you, this is so much harder than it sounds. In his famous Letter 7 on crowds, Seneca warns us about the constant, exhausting battle against external influences. Modern society is basically a massive, noisy crowd, constantly fighting for your attention. To maintain absolute control over our own minds, we occasionally have to forcefully rip ourselves away from the technological noise and those constant addictive dopamine hits and actively seek out inner stillness. Let's move to and see how this builds directly into Marcus Aurelius' wisdom. In Book 10 of his Meditations, he writes extensively about the discipline of judgment. He argues that to navigate this world effectively, you need clear perception. But here's the catch. You cannot perceive the world clearly if your brain is constantly scattered by 100 different digital inputs. This 15-minute counting exercise, it is a literal gym workout for your mental focus. It strips away all the noise so you can practice maintaining clear, uninterrupted attention.
Now you might be sitting there thinking, what on earth is the point of just counting numbers in a quiet room? Well,
There is no point, and that is exactly the point. The sole objective of this 15-minute mental challenge is to prove a hierarchy to yourself. It demonstrates once and for all that your mind leads your body, not the other way around. It proves that you have the sheer willpower to sit still, command your attention, and ignore every single impulsive itch begging you to check your phone or get up. You are the one in control.
By embracing the dawn, shocking your system with the cold plunge, and mastering the sheer stillness of your own mind, you are applying ancient, battle-tested tools to forge an unbreakable modern armor. You are leaving that weak, distracted past completely behind you. So, I will leave you with this final thought. Now that you know exactly what you are capable of, are you ready to take the challenge today?